absolutely gorgeous day. We had that rain kind of got rid of all the, there's not a cloud in the sky today, and it's probably, I don't know, about 65 degrees. It's not cold, but it's just a tad chilly. But the heifers and dry cows are enjoying their pasture. Yeah, well, I'm out here looking at our Triticale a little bit more here today. It's Sunday afternoon. I think we're gonna knock it down tomorrow. Nothing changes our mind. This stuff is just looking tremendous. It's just about waist high, maybe not quite, but almost. A couple days with the rain we had Friday night into yesterday would probably grow another 6 or 8 inches. It's not, the heads are still down in the stalks. They're about halfway up through the stalks maybe, but talking about some rain next Thursday and Friday, and I got to go away. I have a niece getting married in South Carolina on Saturday. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and get this stuff off and be done with it. If we could wait 3 or 4 more days, if they weren't talking about rain toward the end of the week, it's supposed to hit like 80 on Tuesday. If they weren't talking about that rain, we'd probably wait and mow it maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, and well, probably be Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, chop it Thursday. I gotta leave Friday morning, so it'd be nice to have it out of the way before I leave. But anyhow, yeah, it's definitely looking pretty good. There's gonna be mowers running everywhere tomorrow around here in this area. I mean, a lot of guys have gotten small grain, and they were kind of sitting waiting. I know one guy mowed a bunch of rye yesterday after the rain quit, and the rye's definitely time to get it off. At the Triticale's not pushing real strong, but even yesterday with that little bit of rain we had, some of it went down, and so I'm really afraid if we let the stuff stand and we get a really heavy rain, I'd hate to see what might happen to it. So yeah, it's part of why we want to get it off too. We're mowing Triticale today. Yeah, it's a little bit shorter this year than some years, but it still looks like it ought to make a pretty decent amount of stuff, and looks like it ought to be pretty decent feed too. My youngest son Alex mowed one other field down first thing this morning. He's doing most of the mowing today, but I took over here for about an hour or so over lunchtime so he can get some lunch. So one thing that's sure nice this year, even though we had that ½ an inch of rain there last Friday night, yesterday was really windy and it was dry before that. A lot of years when we're mowing Triticale, the ground is just sopping wet or really wet down underneath, but this year it's not like that at all. So we're laying it out wide, and there's a good bit of stuff laying here, but yeah, we are going to take a tedder through and spread this stuff all around. And yeah, looks like it ought to make a decent amount of stuff, so hopefully it does. But like I said, it is a little bit shorter this year than some years, but yet it's pretty nice looking for no more rain than we had, so we're very thankful for that. This here is a field in our home farm. The field over here where the corn stalks are, my neighbor's planting corn over here today. It's my brother-in-law and his dad farm there on that farm, and yeah, my wife and my brother-in-law's wife are sisters. But if you look on over there on that ridge, you can see over in the distance where the ground was worked. That's where the farm is, where we took the woods out. We own another farm just right up the road there. So like I said, my neighbor man's over here planting his corn today. It sure is beautiful weather to get crops done. He's no-tilling his corn in here, and there's definitely some moisture in the ground, but it's just beautiful. I mean, it's yeah, for working ground or planting or anything. My oldest son Willie is planting some corn over here today. I think he's hoping to get close to 70 acres in today. And that'll be the last of it here for a day or two. We're going to empty our manure pit out again tomorrow morning. Finish covering 2 smaller fields that we didn't get covered before. So And then we'll have to wait a day or two while we're in the middle of making this Triticale. But once we get that done and it dries off, we'll get them planted. The one farm we own, we keep our round baler and tedder up here in the winter time, and we're up here getting them out. The barn floor on that side, I wouldn't even trust backing a tractor in over there, but this side here is okay. Yeah, we probably won't need our baler for another week or so, but we'll take it along home. It's going to need a good power wash before we use it to make it look right. But yeah, there's our tedder. We have a Vermeer. It's 33 feet wide once you unfold it. Everything and anything happening today. We got another nice week here the way it looks, and we're working at mowing this Triticale, and my youngest son's mowing. My oldest son, Willie, is planting corn, and he's on the last field that we have ready for now. And I'm out tedding this Triticale, and the tedder we have is 33 feet wide, and we used to have a smaller one, and here a couple of years ago my neighbors had a farm sale and sold out, and we ended up, they had a nice Vermeer tedder, and we ended up getting it. So, yeah, you basically, after you mow it a couple hours, come back through and ted it, it just spreads everything out across the field and dries way faster. On a year when the ground's a little wet underneath, like some years if we're getting a lot of rain, the ground never really dries out right down underneath, and when you're mowing and the ground's a little, not really muddy, but it's wet, and the Triticale or the small grain, whatever you're mowing's got juice in the stalks. It's just kind of wet laying under the windrow, and this year ain't like that at all. The ground's, I mean, there's some moisture in the ground, but it's dry underneath. And so yeah, it'll be interesting to see here. It probably won't take near as long to dry. Tomorrow's supposed to get up to like 80 degrees and be fairly good breeze blowing. So we're hoping to start chopping some of it tomorrow afternoon, and probably end up finishing on Wednesday. I doubt we'll have enough time. Yeah, we probably won't be able to start till 2, 3 o'clock, so it gets dry enough. And yeah, we won't have enough time to get it all done tomorrow night. We run after dark sometimes, but I don't like packing the trench too much after dark. It just, yeah, you just can't see as good up there, and it's just not the safest thing to do if you don't have to. Well, plus what my son gets finished up with this evening, probably be borderline of being dry tomorrow evening. What we mowed first here this morning that I'm tedding now have plenty of time to dry. They say if you plant in the dust, you'll harvest in the mud, so I guess we'll see, but it's definitely really, really dusty out. Another 10 acres over here out of another field. That'll give us close to 100 acres land, between 95 and 100. Yeah, and then that'll let us with probably about 70 acres, give or take a little, to chop here after it's headed out. Yeah, my windshield needs worst in the worst way. It's really showing up there with the sun shining in like it is. But it's about 7 o'clock here in the evening. So yeah, everything went really good so far today. We're done here started mowing around 9 this morning and kept everything going most of the day. I got about half of it tedded. We'll probably ted a little bit more here this evening and then finish tedding the rest tomorrow morning. My youngest son Alex did most of the mowing today. I mowed for about an hour there over lunchtime, and I'm mowing here what I'm mowing here this evening. This is extra 10 or 12 acres. But yeah, it's been a really busy day for us, but that's kind of the way some days are when you're in the middle of busy season. So the next 2 or 3 days are going to be kind of crazy, but if we can get them behind us, we'll be good for another couple weeks till we do the